We met in speech class senior year, first semester. We didn't really talk, and then towards the end of speech class, he invited me to hang out with him one time, and then we just started hanging out, and then it led to us dating.
We met at Mount Sinai Hospital in Chicago. He was a radiology resident, and I was working in human resources. And it took us about a year before we started to actually date. Just one time after he was getting off a call, he was eating breakfast, and I came in, and he asked me out. And that was one of the first times we actually were just the two of us together alone, so, it wasn't embarrassing to ask me out. So that's how we met.
Huh? No, she goes to UIC. I go to Wisconsin-Madison. Yeah.
$5 a month for a brand new truck, or choose a GM.
We'll be in Wisconsin in 3 miles. I want to go to Madison because the previous school I went to, ISU, I did not like it. I didn't really have a choice on going to school there because I applied to all out-of-state schools, and then my plans got changed. So I was stuck there, and I knew I did not want to go there for any other years. So I decided to apply to Wisconsin and UIC, and I got in-state tuition at Wisconsin, and the school is great, and my boyfriend goes there.
My husband is a radiologist, and he's in Blytheville, Arkansas. And he's got 2 hospitals, and he's in a solo practice. So he doesn't work with other radiologists, it's his own practice. And he does his own billing, which is why we feel like financially it's not, financially we can afford to have 2 households. He's been doing that. I think he just finished he's going on his 7th year. He just finished his 6th year, so he's been there for 6 years, going on 7 years. Hello? Hey, what's up? When you go through a hard time in life and you don't have somebody there with you, like when you were diagnosed with diabetes, and he came in that night and he stayed for 4 or 5 days until he got out of the hospital, but then he left, so then it was just you and me. And then 4 months later, when my mom died in the car crash, it was just there was so much, I don't know the word, there was so much sadness, and that I missed having him there during that time, because I felt already so alone, and then to have him be far away and not coming in, only coming in every other weekend, I definitely think that was probably the hardest thing that I've ever done, that he's been away.
My dad was like, when your sister calls, I can't put up with it. I hand it to your mom. She was crying like all the time on the phone to my parents. I miss Jason. I just want to see him. And I was like, Sarah, you have like 3 more months and Jason's going to be going to school there. She's like, yeah, I know. It's not good enough. And I'm like, how often do you see him? Sarah's like, every single weekend. I'm like, Sarah, I see Phil, I was seeing Phil once a month at that point. I was like, are you serious? You're really having a breakdown. I'm like, Phil goes to school so far away from me. It's impossible for me to get a ticket for a bus or a train that goes straight there, because it doesn't. Like, I have to take it to the city, and then it goes to Madison. She asked me that, and I'm like, yeah, and she's like, I don't understand how you're not crying, and I'm like, because crying isn't really going to change anything right now. You're in, like, one day. I think you should be a little bit stronger than that and then cry a little bit later. Crying every single day and, like, being so depressed every single day isn't worth it. Focus on school. Get busy with your schoolwork. I think second semester was harder for me because I was going there like every 2 weeks and I did not want to leave, and I found out I got accepted and I was like, oh, I have to wait until the end of the school year and I have to finish class. That was the hardest.
I mean, without a doubt, there's definitely sadness and boredom, and even not even big stuff like that, but even little stuff. That's hard too when you feel like you had a bad day at work, and you just want to have somebody to talk to when you come home, and there's nobody there. You know, that's when it gets hard to be in a long distance relationship.
Little things like, if you have a long distance relationship, you don't always know, like, oh, what's their favorite food, or like, oh, what's their favorite song at the moment. You don't really talk about that stuff on the phone. It's like something like, where like, something you know, like, being around the person.
Nothing else is really going on. And so, yeah, it'll be fun next weekend, okay? Plane almost crashed. That was your birthday. He missed that year. Because he was in that, his plane made an emergency landing. So, that was probably the scariest thing that ever happened while we were living apart. He absolutely hated it. But everybody started wearing the hat. She wouldn't wear it though. I think it's the quality of time that you spend with somebody, not the quantity. And so, yeah, some of the details you definitely lose in a long distance relationship. But when you are together, if you spend quality time and you have a good time with each other, then, I don't think the details are as important as when you're not together. So, well, anyway, I love you too, guys. Okay, bye-bye.
I think that it'll be a little different because, like, I'll always be around him, but I think, like, that's how you really get to know each other more, by spending more time.
I just think about it as this is our life, and I love him if he's here, I love him if he's down in Arkansas or wherever he's at. It's just what we do. I think of it like that. I just like to take my favorite pillow, and then I take a blanket for the dog because he always comes with me, and then just some, clothes or anything special that I want that I know I don't have down there.